Alright, welcome back to the Golden League 2 round 3, and we've got 3DB here in the Holy Roman Empire in the blue trunks up against loueMT on his Malians in the purple trunks. We're here today on Golden Heights. Looks like a pretty cool map. I don't think I've really seen a lot of this matchup myself, but it looks like B going to open with an early barracks. I'm going to try and pressure with the spearmen and burn through these houses and really deny the gold generation of this pit mine, which is going to scale off how many houses are around it. In fact, B is more or less instantly scouted. loueMT. Is it loueMT or loueMT? I'm not sure how to pronounce what it's supposed to be. Chinese fella, I think he is. Or Taiwanese? Ooh, I probably shouldn't get that wrong, should I? Anyway, getting back to the map. Looks like our players got a couple of pretty close wood lines to their base to hold on to here. But the gold is actually something that could be quite difficult. It might be why B's opting to go for spear pressure so early here, because there's just this one gold vein here towards our players' bases. It looks like B's actually got one sort of here, luckily as well. So B's going to keep streaming spearmen across for now. While loueMT is looking to just try and get to his age up here. He's got nowhere near the wood to be defending this at all. In fact, B's going to focus the pit mine over focusing down the individual houses, because I think he realizes his opponent's just trying to barrel towards H2 here. And Lou is going to have the gold to get there. But I think it's a much bigger cost losing the pit mine. 150 wood versus 25 each house, so that's 100 wood there across all four for 2,000 health versus 150 wood for 1,500 health. So I guess it makes sense. So Saharan trade network going down. This will be a landmark which will actually have arrow slits. So this will act as a tower. Interested to see how this actually works out. Haven't really tried spear rushing against Malians much myself. But so far, it's looking very scary from B here. Bearing in mind, this is the third game in their series, so everything's on the line here. It's 1-1. And Villager attempting to repair, they're getting caught out. So this is not good for Lou. And he's having to move more villagers up to finish this trade network. So it looks like the pit mine will be going down. There's not much Lou can do about it. Another attempt at trying to repair here, but he's forced back. That villager does just make it out, but Lou's already lost villager and had a lot of idle time here. B is going to be a little way off aging up here. But he's actually... Ah, yeah, he's going to go on the gold now. I was going to say he's really committing to the spear rush so far. He's stopped the spear production now. 5 villagers onto the gold mine there. So a couple of villagers already dead. The pit mine gone for Lou as well. He's having to try and distance gather. Well, not really distance gather, it's just on these trees around the town centre. The wood, so he can actually get some military production and actually start, you know, having a lumber camp and some mills for replacing his... Oh, he's going to replace the pit mine. I'm not sure if this is the way to go here, considering he's already taken a bit of a beating early on from B, you know, who's sacrificed a little bit of early infantry to get, you know, an eco gap. Probably set his opponent behind a little bit here. But bearing in mind B still has to hit H2 here. He's got all the gold he needs. He's bringing back his villagers to jump on that couple of sheep that he's still got there. So let's replace the pit mine. But for now, it's been a really slow opening for him in the face of the early aggression from his opponent. B built one more spearman there, or has he just had them? Ah, he's just got them on patrol. In fact, these already fishing through all this. I hadn't even noticed this yet. Sloppy of me. But it's really creative of B to do that, because not only has he set his opponent back a little bit, and he knows his opponent's going to try doubling down onto Eco here. It gives him the space to do so while also taking that slower age up. Cheaper blacksmith upgrades with Minework Palace. Could be useful because you can get cheap ranged armor, cheap melee damage. Basically just go Spearman Horseman here. Make it really rough for Lou from here on out. That's rough for Lou because he's lost a couple of sheep there, trying to harass that villager. And right now he probably can make use of all the food he can get, considering he's not on the water. He's already behind a little bit. Has been making some marches here and can start making Sofa or even start making warrior scouts. Looks like he's going to go Sofa, and it looks like B obviously going to add the stables to try and repel the archers here. B's just going to have to keep his spears away so he's not going to lose them. While Lou is going to want to try and at least get every little advantage here he can. Maybe kill some of these spears off, while having his horsemen try and kill this villager and start burning away at the dock. Obviously the Sofa halfway between a horseman and a knight really, while the warrior scouts are sort of halfway between a horseman and a scout. So it could possibly be quite an awkward spot for our Malians player to find himself in. He probably wasting this horseman. But at the same time, B's got access to man-at-arms here, which could be extremely good against what this Malians player has available to him until he throws down a barracks and makes Musafadi warriors. So the man-at-arms actually going to be quite solid against the archers. Normally good against early game infantry, but man-at-arms being heavy armor. Plus these horsemen, which are cavalry, actually quite tough for everything other than the Sofa of Lou's to deal with here. I'm trying to focus down the spearman, but I think it's pretty tight when the it's just a one-on-one engagement there. B ultimately having to back off because the spear will lose it, but not if the archer's attacking a horseman instead. There's a nice split aggression here from Lou, but unfortunately it's not worked out for him considering he's already slipped that little bit behind, I think, with B opting to go for that spear rush and take the dock. So Lou snuck this on this big gold mine here in the center. I'm wondering if he might have been better off going with either of these gold mines. Although in saying that, you can't fully wall around that one because it's got that weird high ground bit. But this is going to be easy for B to spot, which is going to be very rough for Lou because he's going to need to amass the units he needs to get through this. He's committing to a second range and a second stables, and I have to wonder if he's better off putting a barracks in the mix of this rather than one of these two buildings, just because B can basically pump man-at-arms in this position now. He's gone for a second barracks and a second stable, so realistically, yeah, if he goes Man-at-Arms, Horseman, there's not really... And then gets like a handful of spears just to clean up onto a couple of the sofa. Not a lot Lou can really do about it until he gets Musafati warriors and fights back at home. In fact, Lou getting armory upgrades now, but... Sorry, getting a blacksmith now to get upgrades. But B has had access to them cheaply from that Minework Palace, and it's got a nice surround on a couple of units here of Lou. So he's going to have to try and fight under the defense of that trade network. And yeah, we've got ranged armor here for B. And no armory upgrades. I mean, sorry, no blacksmith upgrades. It's an armory in one of the other Age of Empires games. Sorry, guys. But these would be a bit more expensive for Low, and he's already started to slip behind his opponent on them. Maybe trying to harass with Sofa to get himself back into the game here, because now B, especially with this big water eco, is starting to really blow ahead economically. Low's going to try and snipe some villagers and some to garrison. He's lost another pit mine, and these houses, you know, it's sort of a sunk cost now for Low. Other than, you know, obviously the houses population is useful, but you know, ideally you only want to be 5 or 10 population space available, because anything more than that ends up being a waste. It means you're gathering and spending too much wood, and you could be pumping out more units. So, you know, now that that pit mine's down, it's not getting any economic value having these, and it means that in this position, B's just able to take them here. He's going to try walling up on this right side, making everything a lot slower for his opponent. So we've got range damage incoming here for Low, but B's got ranged armor already, and he's got his melee damage. Not going to be able to get that wall off, but he's able to evacuate the villagers in time. Low's put together an impressive army here, though. Not having to worry about making jab throwers at all, because he knows B doesn't have any archers yet, but B's now able to afford 2 rangers on top of all his other production. This is this small eco lead that he's got. While Low still having to play catch up. He's actually up to 4 rangers now, so he can look at switching to some jab throwers here, but he's going to need something else to back up these archers as well. It's a lot of horsemen too, so this is going to be very rough for Low here. B is looking very solid here. His own range ball quickly equaling the numbers of loueMT's here. loueMT is probably going to need to send some of these Sofa to try and harass B at home here and force him to keep making some spearmen. Because that's probably really his only way out of this at this point. As far behind as he is, you know, try and maybe harass here and send one of the Sofa to even start chipping away at the dock. Because in this position, he's not going to be able to fight B head on, who's actually just basically walling his opponent in at this point. B hasn't had to worry about investing really all that heavily in man-at-arms either. He's just basically just pumping out archers and horsemen at this point. I suppose the Sofa are actually pretty solid against the man-at-arms too. You don't necessarily need Musafati if you've got them and your opponent isn't wanting to invest in spears, but I mean, with this many Sofa, I think B's going to start revving up spear production anyway, particularly because, yeah, Low's trying to raid now, trying to get some villager kills. But in the meanwhile, while he's got all the knights, while he's got all the Sofa there, basically, yeah, Marley's knight equivalent. It does also mean that there's a bit less pressure on these archers for B, so now B feels pretty comfortable because he knows it's really only 2 Sofa at home. It's not going to be easy for Lowe to wipe out this big archer ball. Although in saying that, while B's actually defending back at home using his horsemen, there's not really much here to support these archers, so he will lose a fair handful of them, while loueMT's actually managed to bump back up his archer count quite a bit. In saying that, there's enough archers here to slowly chip away at the Sofa, so if he's kiting really well, he can finish them off. Now there's a lot of horsemen coming in, and they're just going to go straight on top of these archers by the look of it, so it's going to come down to, can Lowe just hold on through this, and, well, can he get out enough Sofa to defend here? Because he doesn't have any barracks for spearmen. I guess the Sofa at least are immune to the archer fire, but there's that many horsemen, and they're just beelining the archers of loueMT's here. Some spearmen joining the mix now for B as well, so this is going to get very rough for loueMT. He probably is going to need either some jab throwers to focus down the archers, or some spearmen to focus down the horsemen at this point. Be the nice army count lead here. His eco lead's honestly not that massive, but the army count at this point is huge compared to his opponents. So loueMT, now some more villagers falling. This is starting to look really dire for our Marlians player. And GG. Looks like B takes the series 2-1.